This is the John Hallett podcast. Today we're talking about sucking less, right? Train more, suck less. Why discipline matters more than motivation. Everybody wants confidence. Everybody wants to feel safer. They want to be stronger, healthier, more capable, but very few people actually want the process it takes to become those things. That's the reality. We live in a world where everything is just instant, right? Uber Eats, all right? You can get any movie streaming live, right? You can get attention and validation and that dopamine hit on social media. The second thing gets uncomfortable. Most people quit. They quit martial arts, they quit fitness, they quit their diets, they quit relationships, they quit their goals, not because they're incapable, because they never learn how to stay consistent when they don't feel motivated, right? The big word, I'm not motivated today. That's why I always say train more, suck less, right? Do hard things, embrace failure. Don't be a wuss. Right. I was just at the grocery store with my wife this past weekend and I had on one of my SuckLess shirts and she's looking at me and I can tell she's reading the shirt. So I let her just keep reading the shirt and she's like, huh. I'm like, yeah, be better, right? Suck less, be better. Oh yeah, that's positive. I'm like, yes, suck less. Every one of us can try to be a little bit better, but people don't want to do the hard things. They don't want to embrace failure. And you're just a big wuss, right? You don't magically become confident. You don't magically get in shape and look good. You earn it through reps. You don't become mentally tough, all right? Reading quotes online and all the other BS online, right? That you're all motivated because you read it. You watch this cool thing. Right? You become mentally tough by doing hard things when you don't feel like doing them. That could be getting on the mat, getting under the bar, having a difficult conversation, showing up when life punches you in the mouth, or simply continuing when progress feels slow. Right? So many times I don't want to coach, right? And you have to. One thing I was thinking of that's emotional for me, right? I had a very difficult conversation with my son a number of years ago, and that was the last time we've really talked, and that was pre-COVID. And I had a class right after. I wanted to cry, right? But you get on the mat and you do it anyways, right? You can't call in sick when you own your own business, right? Where some people, I'm going to go home, I need a personal day. Sometimes just toughen through those hard things, just make you better. It is not easy, but that's sometimes what we've got to do, right? The problem today is a lot of people are just chasing the feeling of success without wanting the struggle that creates it. And honestly, that's dangerous because under stress, you don't rise, you default. So today, Josh and I are talking about discipline and why struggle with commitment now more than ever is important. Why comfort is making people mentally and physically fragile, weak, and why learning to embrace hard things may be one of the most important skills you can develop in modern life, right? And this has been going on. It's really not this modern thing. I watched a George Carlin. I don't know how old it was, probably like 20, 25 years. And the things he was saying about parenting and other things fall right in there, right? These big corporations, whoever you want to call it, want you weak and complacent. And it's just continuing to get worse, not better. All right, let's get into this one. Train more, suck less. Why discipline matters more than motivation. How's it going, Josh?
Good. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
I'm excited. This one is really, really fun because you know how many times I've looked at the mat and gone, I just don't want to go out there and do it. But then I had to go out and do it. And I felt better afterwards.
Yeah, you always, and as I tell people, like, you get on the mat, it's going to change your mood. get in that workout and you're going to feel better,
Absolutely.
feel better about yourself for pushing through versus just making another excuse.
Yeah. And I know it's inconvenient, but I got to do it anyway.
That's not inconvenient. Well, there's always an excuse. You're like, it's inconvenient. Yeah. No, it's not. How is it inconvenient to be in shape? How is it inconvenient, Josh, to be safer, be more physically capable?
It's not.
See,
yeah. I mean, when you put it that way, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, it's inconvenient.
This
is an inconvenience.
You know how many times I've used that excuse in my head?
Language, get right out of your head.
I've used it so much before too. Like, I just can't do it today. I don't have the time. I won't go and do it. Yep. But staying
it's
here,
just another weak ass excuse of being a wuss.
So that means you at home shouldn't be doing it. Don't do what Josh does.
All right. Look, people are addicted to convenience.
Yeah.
Right? Food, entertainment, shopping, everything, right? The quick dopamine hit, all right? Or not, right? Or you're looking at it and it makes you feel bad about yourself. Get off of it. I mean, guys, there's some good stuff out there. Don't get me wrong. But more and more, it's just a load of crap, I think. You're going to feel a whole lot better. Go sit underneath a tree.
Yeah. Go
weed your garden. I don't know. You're going to feel a whole lot better than being on
the chair.
Stupid social media, right? People want that attention and they want that validation that they're doing so good, right? You can sit on the couch and get almost everything delivered in hours.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That has changed people psychologically. Martial arts, fitness, self-defense are the opposite of modern convenient culture. Slow progress, discomfort, not comfortable, repetition, failure, those ego checks.
If you're a driller or instructor listening to this and you're seeing gaps in your own program or how you're teaching, you're not alone. Most schools were never shown how to build this the right way. That's exactly what we help with inside ClearSky Training. Structure systems, raising the standard, not just learning a technique, everything that goes into training and mentoring your students. Right, let's get back in.
And it's delayed gratification, not I've won this new little level. Yeah. Most people are no longer wired for that environment, right? It's hard, and you got to check yourself.
And you were just kind of laying out the case, but why do you think so many people today struggle to stay committed to hard things like martial arts, fitness, or like self-defense training, or even making your own bed?
Making your own bed, yeah. People confuse motivation with discipline. Everybody feels motivated watching that highlight reel, right? We see it all the time in the gym. People click on our ad and submit the thing because they got that little, ooh, that looks cool. Mm-hmm. And then when reality hits, they can't even return a phone call. It's another modern,
Go straight to voicemail.
Or I can't even respond to a text because it's difficult. They've lost the motivation, right, to actually get in the door and check it out or even have a conversation. So, very few people are going to train tired, show up stressed, right? Upset, all those things, right? Training sore. Right? We just had a great Jim, he's 80, whatever, 1, 2, whatever. Yeah. Oh, sorry, John, I just didn't have enough gas in the tank today. I'm like, you had some gas in the tank and you showed up.
Yeah.
That's the important thing, right? It doesn't have to be your best workout. You trained tired, right? And just showed up. That's discipline. They keep going when progress stalls. That's another big one. Well, I'm not seeing that instant gratification. You got to grind it out.
Take the time.
That's where discipline starts. And honestly, most people never really develop discipline because modern culture allows constant escape from discomfort. Something gets hard, switch gyms. All right, it's got to be the gym. Switch, programs for fitness or whatever it is, or the new trendy fitness. I can't even get started on fitness trends. All right. They're going to switch diets because that's got to be the reason they're fat.
That's everyone.
Right. They're going to switch coaches because it's got to be the coach's problem. They're not good. And again, it's not entirely, I'm not saying every coach is great, but there's a lot of excuses there, right? they quit internally, just on themselves.
Yeah.
People chase novelty instead of mastery.
Ooh.
And honestly, this applies to instructors too. A lot of coaches today are chasing marketing hacks, social media clips, the quick weekend certification and shortcuts instead of mastery. But real instructors stay students. They keep training, keep pressure testing, keep evolving, keep refining how they teach and communicate. Right? That is something, I constantly look back at my career and go, I am a different coach than I was 5 years ago. That's a huge part of why I built ClearSky Training, not to create another cookie cutter instructor program, but to help coaches build real world self-defense programs based on pressure, simplicity, decision making, and long-term skill development. Because we want stronger students, we need stronger instructors first, and that starts with humility. Check out ClearSky.training. All right. Set up a call. Go to the contact. There's a ton of different places. Go to the contact page. Set up an office meeting. I'd rather talk to you in person than you check out the website. Check it out. Give me a call.
Hey, man, I want to go back to something.
What do you got?
So we were talking about modern convenience, and it's everywhere. Do you think modern convenience and social media have changed people's expectations on how fast progress should happen? Because on the social media, it looks like I'm getting it in like 3 days.
Yeah.
3 classes.
Yeah, I really think it's hurt that. And even you look back, on the George Carlin, like you're the last winner. People have been rewarding stuff just that for now decades, right? Social media and the algorithm and little games that keep you hooked, are rewiring your brain. I mean, absolutely. It's a huge part of it. People just want the belt. They want the body, right? They want the tactical look, right? They want the social media clip to post, right? To make them feel good and get those likes and everything else, or their friends jealous and whatever else. They want that identity without earning the capability underneath it, right? You see it everywhere. Fake coaches, fake black belts, fake operators, right? Shortcut marketing, weekend certifications, right? That aren't, they're a start. They're not, a full grasp of any system, right? Real training is boring, right? Social media doesn't wire you for, right? Boring,
Not at
right?
all.
They've got to keep you hooked, right? They're
All the
retraining
time.
your brain.
Yeah.
Right? Real thing, you got to grind through the process. You got to put in the time. Right? It takes years. Confidence gets built slowly. Right? And people don't want that. They want to feel like that, I got that really quick. And it's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah. So what's the difference between people who say they want confidence versus the people who are actually willing to earn it?
People aren't used to failing anymore.
I fail every day.
Right? Real training requires that failure, right? Not constant failure, but enough failure to create adaptation. A lot of people now interpret struggle as this isn't for me, instead of this is the process. You and I know getting smashed in sparring, struggling through conditioning workouts, right? Missing a technique when it was there, right? Totally blank, like, oh man, I should have had that. I totally forgot about
yesterday.
That opportunity, failing, right? Getting humbled, those are all good things. That's the normal part of growth. But many people emotionally collapse the moment they're not instantly good at something. I don't like it. It's not for me.
All right. You always say train more, suck less. What does that phrase really mean to you? And why do you think the mindset matters more now more than ever?
Right. I mean, for me, really, it means, I got to get good. I can get, I got to get good, or I've got to be better every day. Because if I let my skills slip, they're slipping. No matter how good you get at something, it can slip, right? I've got to train more. There's always somebody out there better, right? You can learn something new. You can slowly evolve, right? So it's a reminder for me that if you're not training, right, when it's inconvenient, laugh out loud if you missed the beginning of the show, right? It reminds me that I need to work out, right? No matter what, because your skills are slipping. I mean, that's, simply, what it reminds me of. And, all of us can just be a little bit better. It's a hard thing doing uncomfortable things. I don't really like to do it. It's starting off the day doing something uncomfortable, right? That's why I start every day off with, that cold shower, the cold plunge, whatever it is, they both suck, right? I don't want to do it. So I start the day with it.
Get it out of the way.
Comfort is slowly making people just weak, fragile, not physically, but mentally too, right? They avoid conflict, hard conversations, anything like physical discomfort. I mean, forget it. I mean, let's find the easiest workout possible. I mean,
it's not a workout then.
I'm going to start, a new chain. It's going to call, easy fit. It's just going to be super easy and you're going to get fit. It's going to be easy and you're going to be fit. Right. And the doors will probably be super crowded. You just do a bunch of BS that's not going to get people
We're going to
fit.
charge a ton of money for that one. We're doing it.
Right. So, people don't want to risk different thing, failing or whatever it may be. They don't want to be embarrassed. Right. And you got that uncertainty piece. Resilience, all right, comes from exposure to those things. That's one reason martial arts and hard fitness matters so much now. They force people to confront discomfort in a controlled environment. And that's really rare. Here's the important part. People who do want hard things today really want them. That's why gyms like RMSDF still matter. The modern world is producing two extremes. People becoming softer and more avoidant, and people desperately searching for something real. The second group is our audience, right? They're tired of fake. They're tired of weakness. They want challenge, structure, accountability, and meaning. That's why, our message resonates. Train for real life, earn confidence, do hard things, right? Embrace failure. Become harder to kill, become harder to break, and not being a wuss. Look, if you want to go deeper on real world self-defense, decision making under stress, and responsible firearms training, everything we teach lives at ClearSky.training. ClearSky is where we break down the thinking behind self-defense, awareness, avoidance, judgment, legality, and decisive action when violence can't be avoided. If you're an instructor or gym owner, this is where we help you build systems, structure your training, and raise your standard. If you're in Castle Rock, Colorado, and want hands-on training, that philosophy is put into practice at Rocky Mountain Self-Defense and Fitness. Thanks for listening to the John Hallett podcast. And as always, train more, suck less. We will see you next time.